to patrol around, and look at this fully healed Banshee coming back into the base, going to continue this. Now he did make a second queen while that first one did go down for the defense, but he's going to be faced with this yet again, and this queen will go down. Is the second on the way?
Oh, it looks like MMA does manage to take out another queen and again escapes with his life, just eating into that production, but he's got to be very careful. We see a lot of Mutalisk about to hatch. There are those Mutalisk from EGIdra uncharacteristically mis-rallied, but EGIdra repairs that right away. MMA continuing to produce. Looks like a very anti-muta focused army, already getting the stim done combat shield en route, and many Marines popping out.
Yeah, these mutas are going to have to do some poking and prodding, seeing if he can get some damage done against MMA here, or just contain him within his own base. He'll also see that third command center as well if he manages to make it inside his opponent's base. Going to go ahead and take out this spawning supply depot. One Viking that is out is going to try to just hot shot some of these mutas, but they're going to let that one burn down. Now the third did go down for EGIdra, and he is just working on a lot of upgrades. That +2 melee attack, that +1 flyer attack, and we see a few banelings being morphed right now. And one thing that we haven't seen EGIdra get yet at all is that Overlord speed, which is usually something that you see the moment that lair pops, but he hasn't gone that way, probably meaning that you know, he'll either reserve that for a later time, wanted to get those mutas out right away, get his muta numbers up so that he could start to sustain those and see if he can do some poking damage against MMA.
Mutalisk now continuing to maneuver around, find some hole that they can exploit. This is the weak spot in a Terran defense because Terran cannot see above this cliff. This missile turret effectively has 3 range, so MMA is going to leave those Marines at the back to try to get a little bit of extra defense. Ooh, treading a little bit close, does not lose any Mutalisks, but does manage to pick off a single Marine, takes a good bit of damage. EGIdra being very responsible about joining these bases together with creep. And how will EGIdra transition into the mid game? He has a lot of money, should get an extra macro hatchery or just try to spend it somehow, and that pesky Banshee showing up. Will it kill another queen? And no!
Oh my gosh. 2 hit points. The queen stays alive. She's going to need some gauze bandages, but she'll be okay. The muta's going to move back out. We have 4 more in production, a few more lings going out. So now a round of units, as the last round we saw was a concentration of drones. The +1 melee attack is going to be finishing up soon. And well, we don't have a macro hatch, or we could. It is going to go down at the gold. He's cleared out those rocks. And so far, the mutas have done their job, kept MMA inside his base. The concentration of units is getting higher. We do see a medevac moving out, and it will get spotted by this Overlord, and it is about to go down from the Viking. Oh. And he does, but he spots it just before he meets his demise.
And another medevac up in the Northlands. Oh, 3 kills for EGIdra. He is feeling great. He is controlling the center Zelnaga Watchtower. Should likely begin trying to kill off these other destructible rocks to do a little bit more spotting. SCV down at the south, medevac in the bottom left as well, beginning to swing around. Gold expansion getting close to done for EGIdra, but now we're seeing MMA move out, take out these destructible debris, and see, this is the problem I was worried about. This is such a late third expansion for MMA, considering how early he got that orbital command. He's going to have to send it to a vulnerable gold base, but we are seeing now the Mutalisk spot this medevac. Does EGIdra see it in time to respond? He's moving the Mutalisks back, continuing to add more mutas on as well. MMA advancing forward, has a great Marine count, 53.
Yeah, and where did that medevac go? I'm not sure. He's taking out the gold.
Oh! Oh! Oh no! Oh my goodness! MMA! Oh! Marcus, that is also not a good use of a third command center.
No, it is not. No, it is not. Also, the medevac is about to get spotted. It is going to go down. He'll take out the Marines. No, he'll wait for the higher concentration of mutas. They are making their way over. He's going to try to engage this, and there are a lot of mutas out on the field right now. Another medevac will go down, and will MMA ultimately be defeating himself here, as that will put him behind. He needed that. A lot of banelings being morphed right now. The muta count is very high. EGIdra has not lost, I do not even believe, a single muta in all this. And well, gosh, MMA moving forward, but EGIdra looks incredibly prepared for this.
Another drop by MMA up at that expansion, trying to do a little bit of damage, and now EGIdra's rolling in. Look at the Mutalisk count, Banelings getting absolutely obliterated by these tanks, but the Mutalisk count is just a little bit too high. EGIdra now streaming forward with Zerglings, Mutas, everything is overrunning this force by MMA. Wait, what? Did EGIdra just leave another one game? I'm loading up the replay. Marcus, I will allow you to host. I want to see what the game state was.
I mean, there was a drop going on. There was a drop going on the natural, right? You know what I thought that was? I thought that was I thought EGIdra was being that guy, the preemptive GG guy. Like, oh, I just took your, so you might as well GG now. But we need to focus in on the natural, because I don't think that EGIdra was dealing with that, and he may have done, MMA may have done enough damage there. But it's just, there were still so many mutas left.
I mean, I'm speechless.
This is what it feels like to be shell-shocked right now.
Because MMA 125 food, EGIdra at 137 at those final moments. And I literally do not know what happened at the end of the game. I'm actually delaying joining the next game to get to the very end of that previous match to figure out what exactly occurred.
It was definitely what was going on at that natural.
Because, I mean, I think everyone would have been impressed if MMA had won the game, given the fact that he accidentally killed his own orbital command. But then to kill your own orbital command, lose, and then have your opponent leave, that's very impressive. That's hard to do. So we're about 5 minutes out. I'm 8xing the replay to try to figure out what on earth happened. But that is one of the weirdest things that I think I've ever seen. I thought that when EGIdra left to hallucinated Void Rays from Huck, that was going to be the craziest thing I'd ever seen. But EGIdra continues to deliver tournament and tournament again. There is the self-kill on that orbital command. And let's see how much damage this drop did. If we take a look back at the final moments of this game, we can see here's the scan going on from MMA, and here is the drop. Did EGIdra simply not notice? This may have been what happened. Oh, it looks like he did send several Mutalisks over and was suffering some damage at this natural expansion. But as we peruse through, we see MMA long-range mining. Does EGIdra see that there was, yes, he sees that that was under construction. He's starting to chew through these marine numbers. And as we get very close, we're still 20 seconds away from the end. So right now,
look at the expansion.
Right now, EGIdra has drones mining, is saturated. And in the unit counting station, 22 Marines, but they're all back home. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think EGIdra may have left the game that he had won. I literally cannot believe that EGIdra has made that mistake 2 tournaments in a row. You know, EGIdra is the sort of player who prides himself in being able to spot the minimap and being able to recognize that these kinds of drops are coming, repel them without any damage. And we've seen in a lot of tournament situations, EGIdra becomes very self-frustrated mid-game when he makes these slip-ups that he doesn't make at home, that he doesn't make in practice, that he doesn't make in lab.
Right.
And EGIdra incorrectly convincing himself that he was far behind when in fact he was absolutely crushing MMA. As I look around, all that there was to defend those tanks were those 2 turrets. It is 6 free tanks, and EGIdra still currently had 16 Mutalisks in the game, 71 workers to his opponent's 63, and MMA has almost mined out his natural, has almost mined out his main. I think it is a definitive lead for EGIdra in that circumstance. I don't know whether it's appropriate to let him know when we join the game. I mean, that is an absolute shock. It looks like EGIdra's map choice is Metalopolis. Let's see if EGIdra can manage to make the comeback, but that is absolutely appalling. What a disappointing way to begin a series. With a 1 game lead, I am absolutely speechless. Welcome to MLG Columbus 2011.
You know, I want to like go behind this thing right now and just like scream the loudest obscenities that I've ever screamed in my entire life.
I mean, I absolutely cannot believe that this is actually occurring. This is, I mean, Why did he leave, Marcus? What was going on? I mean, the next map is going to be Metalopolis. I'm trying to let EGIdra know that it is now time to join the next game, but I sincerely hope he's going to take the time to rewatch that game.
Oh, it looks like the wrong one. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you in, sir, and we will get going to this next game in just a moment. As there we go. He left.